That was you saying that. There, you don't sound like her. She's
No,
different.
I really don't. You're right.
You just don't understand her.
I don't know. I don't know what she's been through.
Space
Mm,
1999. It's the
I think I'll bring up
podcast with Mark
my
and
notes.
Matthew. Okay.
The
That was my sound check. I don't know.
Tabor.
Way to go. We can hear you. Way to go. Sounds great. I'm just dreading talking about this.
I love making up lyrics to TV shows that have no lyrics.
Oh yeah. Well,
That's
and then
always
there's
used to-
hilarious.
MASH where it does have lyrics,
Uh,
but they don't sing it. Or Star Trek that has lyrics.
Well, my friends and I at one point had a Law and Order song, and I think it was something like "In the criminal justice system, two sides are equal." I don't remember. I don't remember how it went, but it was like the thing that everybody knew.
The dumber the better. My favorite is
Yeah.
in Jurassic Park, in Jurassic Park, in Jurassic Park.
Oh, my favorite is I'm Tom Brokaw and here's the news.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Star Wars. I have a lightsaber. I'm just making that up.
all goes
Bill
back to
Murray
Bill
did
Murray.
that. Bill
Wait,
Murray has
what-
that
Star
covered.
Wars.
Was that in?
Crazy.
Was that in a movie I
Star
didn't see?
Wars.
He's a shitty lounge singer in the Adirondacks or whatever.
Oh, is that just? A
Oh, you haven't
sketch
seen
I
that?
didn't see?
That's old.
No, I haven't. So that's how obvious the jokes were back then.
And if
First
they could-
encounter me, next encounter you,
was it Star
third
Wars?
encounter love.
Just give me those Star Wars. And if they should bar wars, please let them stay. Those are lyrics.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the lyrics. It's like the first thing you could think of off the top of your head. That's how the game works.
Please
Oh,
let
yeah.
these stay. Maybe that's a anyway. I don't have to get the
Let the
prepositions
wars. Let the wars stay, and stay they did.
correct. So you're just going on because you don't want to talk about the Taybor, is that it?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about the Taybor, man. I feel like I'm gonna hurt some feelings talking about this episode. Like
I was
somebody is
telling
listening to this,
Shani
is like, I
about your
love the
notes, like,
Taybor.
why am I watching this? And she says, that's what I ask. And I'm like, wait a minute, you never even sat down and watched the whole episode. Well, what I've seen seems pretty dumb. Is that just the way British people act? And I'm like, an hour ago we
Yes.
watched Wicker Man. You love that movie. Why are you dumping on Space 1999? They both have Aubrey Morrison.
I don't know that I've written in any of my other notes for any other episodes. Why am I watching this?
Mm.
That might be a new feeling. Maybe I have. I don't know.
No, I did not post to the Discord though. Luke's monkey encounter was fun.
Monkey encounter.
Yeah, find the picture.
I just saw pictures of you with Disney Sea or whatever. it was,
Right.
with lots
So-
of drinks and food.
Right. This is where the monkey rubbed Luke's belly and then started like praising him.
Nice. Hell yeah, Master of the Apes.
Because I was like, let's get a picture of the monkey, but the monkey had different ideas.
He's worshiping Luke for the god that he is.
So I was like, well, that was we didn't get the monkey picture I was looking for, but that works. It's more of a
Thought
story that way.
Thought Luke was the swole Buddha.
We did one round of game show in the Teddy Roosevelt Lounge. We'll do the rest. Having one on site is probably good enough. We'll just do the other two at a later time.
Yeah, it sounds like a huge pain in the ass. But what did you take any of my advice on?
Yeah. Hold on, let me see if
concepts?
I made it to this iPad. If the cloud has done its job. Pages. I don't think he listens to these, but he can't because
I'm sure he doesn't.
I'm about to reveal some of the things I wrote.
Well, you don't have to say the answers. You can just say the questions.
Right, but yeah, you can. No, you can't. You can't reveal that. I
Oh,
have to
if you
grab
say
the
the
other
questions.
iPad. I have to grab the other
Yeah.
iPad.
Don't worry about it. I'll experience it in real time when it comes out.
Okay.
Also, Apple, your cloud sucks. I hope you're listening, Apple.
Apple always listens.
Always just saying that I won't have to log in again, and I have to always log in again.
The ghost of Steve's job. Steve's job.
Steve's job. Steve's hand job.
Sorry, maybe I'm more sleepy than usual. That's fine. That's good for this episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, Tokyo. Good evening, Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah. Do a pause, I guess, and we'll do this.
Okay. Welcome to Podcast 1999, the podcast about Space 1999. I'm your host, the Taybor, and these are my other hosts, the other two Taybors. There's only one Taybor.
Taybor. There's one Taybor. You can't just all willy-nilly
He's
spread
the
that
Taybor,
around.
not a Taybor. Come on.
Yeah,
Is he a species?
that means one.
There's only one of them.
Yeah.
From the planet, what was it, Pluth or whatever?
Why does he want to reproduce so bad? Is it because he's one?
I don't think he wants to reproduce. I think he's just horny.
Okay.
No, he's lonely and misunderstood, guys. Come on.
And he's a dirty old man. He's what is he? The guy in Dragon Ball, the dirty old pervert guy.
We've just put more thought into this 2-sentence horny discussion than anyone put into writing this entire episode.
Right. Mark, what was your main note?
Why am I watching this?
Yeah, you said this first.
Is that my main note?
See, I'll come from a mildly different part where I was coming in like, oh god, is this going to be a Harry Mudd thing? Because except for a Discovery one, I don't like Harry Mudd episodes that much. But then they started showing me flashing rainbow colors, and it hypnotized me. And then we got a guy who's like a drunk Brian Blessed, so that's fun for me. He's like, God, I'm a boy. It seems like he's gonna fall over at any moment. I like that.
I put in my notes that instead of Brian Blessed, we got Brian Cursed.
Yes.
He was terrible. I couldn't stand listening to him. He was like a 300. What if the Great Gazoo was a 300-pound sex criminal? Like there's nothing that I liked about him. His spaceship was cool. His little
I liked the actor playing him.
He was a good actor. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault.
He took what he had and he ran with it.
I couldn't understand like half of what he was saying.
I understand what he was saying. It's sort of like, you guys like pugs? Like, I like pugs. I do feel kind of bad that they can't breathe. It's hard for me not to think about how this guy can't breathe. Anyway.
Okay, trivia then?
I just went for anyway, sorry. Trivia. I try to stay positive and sometimes I fail. I'm very weak. Anyway, this is the 6th episode of season 2 in production order. As previously mentioned, Fred Freiberger intended to replace the entire season 1 supporting cast, but ended up having to keep 3 cast members, including Nick Tate as Alan Carter. The other 2, Xenia Merton and Anton Phillips, have already left, but they weren't given a contract, while Tate was given a contract. The first 8 scripts of the season had already been written before Tate was brought back on, so he was then written into them. But The Exiles, which is, you might recall, is the 2nd episode of the season, had so little for Tate that he promised he'd walk away if another script had so little for him to do. He read this script for this week's episode, saw he only had a couple of lines, and then left on a skiing vacation with his girlfriend without telling anyone. Thus, he won't be in this episode or the next one, but don't worry, he'll be back. I have no idea how contracts work in these situations. Replacing him is John Hugg as Bill Fraser, who you might remember from The Metamorph. He basically gets a promotion here and will be coming back for 7 more episodes after this one, bringing his total number of episodes to 9. So big win for John Hugg. It's like the circumstances gave him a big hug. Anyway,
a hug for me.
Our director is another first-timer. Wow. Bob Brooks, born in 1927 in Philadelphia. A writer and director without a lot of IMDb credits. He's probably best known for directing the James Bond-themed Schweppes commercial in 1990, starring the now excruciating John Cleese. He passed away in 2012, but he'll be back for one more Space 1999 directing job before then. Tom Keyes, that's Thom. Thom? You don't ever say Thom, do you? Tom Keyes gets the primary writing credit. I have no information on his origin, but this is his only Space 1999 credit. His other writing credits are White Fang, an episode of Colditz, and Sky Bandits. That's it. That's his whole resume. As for the titular Taybor, we have Willoughby Goddard, born in 1926 in Bicester, Oxfordshire, England. I'm sorry, I butchered that, I'm sure. He began a stage career in 1943, which led to a long television and film career, although he continued to prefer the theater. And he was known for openly joking about his weight and considered it an asset. You can see him in The Wrong Box, Teabag Bounces Back, Gawain and the Green Knight, and Danger Man. He passed away in 2008 at the ripe age of 81, leaving behind a wife and one child. The other major speaking role in this episode was Rita Webb as Maya. Well, the woman Maya turns into at the end. She's actually credited as Slatternly Woman. Yeah, it's a British term, slatternly. Anyway, she was born in 1903 in Williston, London, England. She was mostly comedic actress. I can't say words. And IMDb lists her nickname as Podge. She has over 100 credits, including The Magic Christian, Never Mind the Quality, Feel the Width, The 9 Ages of Nakedness, Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter, and 8 episodes of Benny Hill. She passed away in 1981 at the age of 77. Also, Corrections Corner, I don't know where to put this, but Brian literally dropped my friend Millie's podcast, or he name dropped it, and I totally glazed over because I was staring at something and I have severe ADHD. So I want to shout out Millie's podcast, Sorted Details, and also her other one. I saw what you did. I can't talk. I saw what you did. Check those out.
I have to.
I don't think she's listening to this.
I have to make corrections too from the Exiles, where I said this episode seems especially horny because everyone since then has been more so, as Brian pointed out. So there's that, and also I said, wouldn't it be funny if the camera turned and there was just a dude with a cowboy hat, and then that also happened 2 episodes later.
Texas.
Just throwing it out there.
I've gotten a definition here: slatternly, untidy, and dirty through habitual neglect. Also careless, disorderly. Thank you, Brian. That makes her sound like a bad person, and I think she's actually a very good person.
I'm sure she was. Did you say you know Millie from Sorted Details?
Yes, I do. I don't know April.
Well,
I know
weird.
Millie. Well, you said when you were talking about
April,
it, you said Atlanta, Georgia, and at the time I was like, Atlanta, Georgia. That's weird. And I just had missed the thing, the meat.
I've kind of wondered if you guys had any connection with April or Millie since you were in the Atlanta area, but
well,
she also lived in Savannah, I think, and also maybe Athens. I don't know her whole history, but
well, Millie was in California for a long time until she lost her job, basically steering the boat at TCM midnight movies. Is that what it's called?
Steering the boat?
I don't know anything.
Is it the movies on the boat?
She was doing stuff. She was doing important stuff, and they restructured because I don't know, to feed a bunch of blood to David Zaslav.
He wants another sacrifice, right?
Yeah, they probably killed a lot of people and fed him their blood. No, Millie's okay though. She's back here.
I'm glad to hear that.
As okay as you can be to be stuck back in Atlanta.
I haven't heard much about her since that era, but yeah, that's cool.
Also, I have I've never had any trouble telling their voices apart.
So you got a story for us?
Oh, that would be me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am looking at your screen on the Zoom, but you don't know that because you can't tell.
If only we used AI to point your eyes at my video and not Mark's or something. I don't know.
Is that what the I in AI stands for?
Then people would do like Brady Bunch reenactments. They get like 8 other people and look around at each other in the boxes.
Well, I have a whole rant about how in television and movies, view screens show people looking at an angle as if they're looking up at someone, who can't possibly, they don't understand how 2D television works. Anyway, it goes way back to before Star Trek even. Okay. It's another sunny day in the Moonbase Alpha Solarium where a group of women suddenly find a strange glowing object which zaps the sunbather who picks it up. Similar objects appear around the base, causing more havoc. Suddenly a voice booms out in Command Center asking for permission to land, and then a ship lands, or rather materializes, outside of Alpha anyway. The owner of the voice appears. He is Taybor the Trader, come to barter his wares. Koenig, angry at first, tells him to get lost, but Taybor smooths his ruffled feathers and, despite his rather naked stares of attraction toward Maya, manages to invite himself to dinner. The next day, after surviving Tony's beer, Taybor answers Koenig's questions about possibly returning the Alphans to Earth, as Tabor's ship is powered by hyperdrive. But a lack of astrometric knowledge about Earth's whereabouts brings the conversation to a halt. Instead, Taybor takes Koenig on an unexpected jaunt into hyperspace, and Koenig asks if there's anything he could trade with Taybor for the plans to his hyperdrive. Taybor says yes, he would like Maya. Koenig manages to dissuade him from taking Maya and settling on a Maya mannequin, after which Taybor gives Koenig the plans and proceeds to hold an auction for other trinkets with the Alphans. Helena and Maya both received gifts from Taybor. Helena, an intoxicating perfume to seduce Koenig with, and Maya, a necklace to mesmerize her long enough to kidnap her. But Koenig has an ace up his sleeve, a transmitter he planted on Tabor's ship, which he uses to tell Maya that Taybor only surrounds himself with beauty. She transforms into a space hag and tells him she'll stay this way as long as she's held prisoner. Taybor relents, sending Maya back and reneging on all trades he's made with the Alphans, including the hyperdrive plans. Presumably, he'll get his trading license revoked as soon as Alpha figures out how to reach the Galactic Better Business Bureau. The end.
All right. So, yeah, you didn't warm up to the psychedelicness of this episode, like the Tabor ship, not the drive part, but the rest of it kind of looks like Liberace's house.
Sure, I thought it looked great.
Well, even the hyperdrive was like a swirly, colorful spiral thing. So that
I liked it. That just didn't look like it'd be in Liberace's house. That's all I'm saying.
But it wasn't enough to make me not think about how much I disliked this episode. And this is
rainbows. You get rainbows.
Yeah, great.
Rainbows everywhere.
This made me like Harry Mudd a lot more.
Yeah, who should we compare him to, really? I mean, as a trader, he's like part Harry Mudd, but he's also, I get like strong Lost in Space vibes. I'm sure there's like half a dozen characters like him in Lost in Space. Kind of Victor Buono vibes, you know, being large man and jovial, and I don't know. It's a little bit of all those tropes rolled into one.
I suppose Lost in Space plots would be more simple like this.
It's a very Lost in Space plot.
Yeah.
Well, it's a one and done script, as you said in the trivia. But I did feel like he made me think a little bit more of a season one villain, I guess. Like slightly lower rent, but in a way that entertained me.
It really bugged me that I couldn't understand what he was saying, and that he was just kind of screaming and yelling, saying nothing really, and just they gave him so much dialogue.
They did, and a lot of it was like Earth slang, you know, like whatever universal translator they must have going, it was translating all these things into carny talk.
Everyone just speaks English in space. It's cool.
Yeah, they're
I was amused by the fact that he apparently lives on hardtack. And I was like, hardtack? Really?
Hey, he's a Civil War enthusiast.
Space hardtack is what it is.
He did not literally twirl his mustache, but he did literally twirl his beard.
He had terrible intentions and was constantly accusing other people of lying, and wanted, I don't know. I don't understand why anyone thought that he would accept just like a statue that sort of talked when he wanted a woman.
Clearly he didn't, but he was playing some longer game.
Well, people buy girlfriend pillows in Tokyo.
Sure. I mean, no, at least a pillow is soft. This is like a statue that just went, "Thank you, Taybor. How are you?" It's like so awful.
Well, he had to throw him off the trail so they wouldn't pick up on his little scam, you know?
And the replica was very lifelike. It looked just like Catherine Schell standing perfectly still.
Yeah, that it did. Incredible technology they had to make something that looked exactly like a person. It stood completely
it's
still.
Something we've never seen Alphans have to do before, but apparently it's there if they need to.
That did kind of make me go like, what? What are you doing? You're gonna make another one? What are you talking about?
I wrote it down. It took almost 42 minutes for Koenig to start screaming about the Taybor. So that's a pretty good run. I mean, usually it's like a 15-minute, 20-minute mark. Here it's 42 minutes in before he screams about him.
I think maybe he's just depressed. Just takes a lot to work to
I think he was really upset that he talked himself out of having a whoopee session with Helena when he realized how wrong things were going. It's like, Damn it, Taybor.
Well, that's good to know our hero isn't just gonna like just have his way with somebody who just used Tabor's sex perfume or whatever the hell it was.
I just got a spam email here. Class action suit for those that encountered the Taybor. Okay.
Oh, the
Yeah,
filing date was 1986. Sorry.
I was I was searching Spotify to see if there were any songs about hating the Taybor, and all it gave me was like 300 Taylor Swift songs. Do you think that Taylor Swift is the Taybor now?
Yes.
Or maybe Spotify, maybe it's the future and Spotify's search engine doesn't work at all.
Iron Maiden into a Taybor song that would have made sense.
Oh, so that means the other Maya is Tabor's version in parentheses.
Oh yeah, there yeah.
I thought they were going to do a switcheroo thing for a moment there, which is not what they did. So the Alphans were not scheming.
Well, I thought that he was going to do a switcheroo, but he just showed up and took her. It wasn't even, and then he did the switcheroo later, I guess. If you could count,
Yeah,
if
he
you could count that.
He
was
could have
just
thought
like,
through
I'll
any
send
of
it
his-
back.
Yeah, that was just teasing him at that point.
Yeah, the thing I hated about it was these like, I never let it be said that Tabor is not a man of his word. Here, I'll send you back Maya. I'm a man of my word. I am great, and you're liars.
You said it wrong. Never let me say Tabor's word. Sorry, I was entertained by this.
It's more fun to do the
your
voice.
garden variety continuum and go into hyperspace. Yeah.
It's more fun to do the voice than it is to watch the episode.
Okay, as long as you get there. I do like that Tony's beer is now going to be a recurring element of the show. Apparently,
I'm
you found
already
someone who
so
liked it.
I'm
He
already
likes
so
anything
sick
without
of
The most
talking
distasteful
about.
alien they've met so far is the one guy who likes his beer.
Maybe it's just the fact that making your own beer has been legal in the U.S. for 20 years now, or so.
Really?
Just like I'm so sick of. Yeah, I don't plenty people who do it. There's like, if you came back to Atlanta, there's like 30 breweries or 50 or something now.
Oh yeah, microbreweries are.
There's one in Avondale that's specifically metal themed.
Oh right. Tony's problem is that he's obsessed with making a fruit flavored beer. Probably.
I just don't. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about his beer. I mean, not with you guys. I want to talk with you guys. I just don't want to hear people talk about it because it's really boring. It's a boring topic on this episode. I'd rather watch Maya turn into animals, which we don't get very much of.
No, they obviously had a lower budget because I mean, she could have turned into a panther like she did a few weeks ago, and that would have probably been more effective. Although the panther was not effective either, so I don't know.
Well, in this episode, we established that she can just change her hand into another being, to grip his knee with.
Yeah, and Taybor did not notice that at all, clearly. I guess
because later he was surprised by her. He just thought she was really strong or something.
Yeah, I guess that tracks.
But I like the fact that this young woman who was raised with basically no civilization other than her dad knows how to deal with, creepers.
But how many people came to Psych? Was that the name of the planet? Psych and
Psychon.
Psychon. She might have screwed with lots of people. We just didn't see it.
She's more well-rounded than you would expect her to be.
Yeah, because there was all the people in the mine, so obviously people had been coming through.
I mean, one of the only things I liked about this episode is they do at least do a bit where he's like, I can take you to Psychon. And she's like, it's not there anymore. And she's kind of sad. Like that's a character moment.
That's like 2 weeks in a row.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row that someone raises the prospect of going back to Earth and she's all in the corner mopey and like, oh yeah, you guys have a planet.
Well, they got that
way more interesting than no one likes my beer because it's fruity.
No, I mean, I agree. It's funny back-to-back episodes where she's left kind of mopey while everybody else is like, yay, Earth.
I put in my notes, well, to be fair, if she's happy on Alpha, she'd probably be happy on Earth, but I don't know, maybe not.
No, didn't we learn last week that Earth is not really worth going back to?
Wasn't there something in Voyager where Tom Paris wasn't sure he wanted to go back to Earth because he was, respected in Voyager and not in jail?
something like that. But yeah, I just at this point of the show, because they got someone's, now credited with continuity, and we have continuity beer and continuity sad Maya, and and everyone seems to be okay
There's your
with
continuity.
Try my
dystopian
new
Earth.
beer. It's called Continuity.
Let's get back to dystopian Earth. That looks great.
And also, wow, what a bummer that the main person who insulted the beer last week, Alan Carter, has now just left the show.
Well, he's skiing.
Which was a shame, because I figured if anybody would drink Taybor under the table, it would be Alan.
Well,
Probably.
in this episode, he only had a couple of lines on a moon buggy, which I guess the moon buggy was when Koenig.
Yeah, when they were looking for his ship, which was not in normal space. So why go looking for his ship? That kind of made no sense.
So
but I like the moon buggy effects.
That's why they made it out in time. Okay, I get it. Because I was like, oh, they're gonna eat it. They're gonna get destroyed by rainbow power, but they escaped. Because I was like, these are a couple of nobodies. If Alan Carter had been on that moon buggy, of course I'd expect them to escape. So I don't know, that made it suspenseful, maybe.
I don't blame him at all for leaving. I don't know why. I don't know why he liked last week's episode. I guess he liked it because he had a lot of stuff to do. But
yeah, that's what he likes.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
that's clear.
It's really funny. That's his favorite episode of the season, and it was like right before he read a script that was like didn't have him in it. He was just like, "I'm out of here, ski trip."
I just assumed the Taybor drank himself under a table. My notes say the Taybor is now blackout drunk. WTF is he saying? Oh, and there he blacks out. Okay.
That's what I assumed. And then Helena has to narrate for everyone that he won't be able to answer any more questions. Like, what is that?
Well, never
she
does
looks
that
half drunk herself, actually.
Yeah, so
he won't be answering any more questions.
I'm seeing a weird through line of Helena narrating things that don't need explaining. And I don't understand this.
Well, people
lots
have
of Helena being
quirks.
whimsical too, fucking really funny.
Yeah, she's obviously having way more fun this season.
Yeah, I do like that she's sort of like letting her hair out.
Her hair was out to start with, but sure.
Letting her hair,
you mean metaphoric?
Further down.
Her metaphoric hair is.
It's on the floor.
When she went from honey blonde to platinum blonde, she really loosened up.
Mm.
I'm glad somebody's having fun with the season.
I guess she's putting a little more cinnamon into her role now.
Maybe she really hated all the people who got fired.
I really got to watch some more Mission Impossible. I don't think I've seen any of the Martin Landau Barbadane ones.
Oh yeah, it's definitely interesting to watch them alongside some Space 1999, because their vibe is pretty different in Mission Impossible. So
I've mostly just seen the Tom Cruise movies. I'm sorry.
That's where most people are. I only recently was like, gee, I think I should go watch like the actual show. So
is it fun? Are you having fun with it?
Yeah. I watched like 2 discs of 4 episodes a piece, which is saying something considering how much I have to watch podcasts and stuff, right? Things for podcasts. So
I finally finished Dune Chapter 1 after maybe 15 sittings.
And now 2's out of the theater. It's probably still in the theater.
I don't care. I don't. It was fine. I'm not crazy about it. I'm sorry.
I think you're basically on the same page I am with that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I still prefer the Lynch one, as I've been saying to people, and they look at me weird when I say that.
If the Lynch one was edited to make sense, I would like it better, and I still think I kind of do like it better. I'd rather watch it because because it's a sand planet doesn't mean the whole thing has to be brown all the time. Anyway.
See, that's maybe in 2039 they'll release the AI'd reimagining of David Lynch's Dune and put all the stuff back in that you wanted.
I want the Jodorowsky one if we're gonna just let AI do it. Put Orson Welles and Dolly in it and Magma.
That sounds about right. Yeah. But I will throw out.
You've seen that documentary, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need my cosmic warriors. Yeah, that stuff. I like that. Meaning his crew, not people in the movie.
Yeah, he's just trying to recruit the most difficult people on Earth to be in his movie.
To be his cosmic warriors, yeah. I do. Do you think that maybe, and here you could give me another another contender if you want. Is the Taybor the most colorful hour of television ever, not counting animation?
I don't know.
It's a contender. It's got so many
I feel like
rainbows.
Sesame Street probably would beat it somewhere along the line.
I'm just
Like,
blinded by rainbows. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not
I don't
saying
know
I
about
like
all
the
of
rainbows.
television,
You love the
but in
rainbows.
Space
Ship was
1999,
cool.
it was.
His ship was cool, but it was just like this episode was just about like a terrible person showing up and saying terrible things and doing terrible things and then gaslighting everyone. So it was just really unpleasant.
Well, committing actual crimes, right?
Yeah, committing crimes, stealing trafficking, trying to traffic women, clearly. What else? Killing, like, I guess some of his toys were killing people, right?
Yeah, maybe
Nobody actually
blinding
died in
people?
this episode, though. No, there were
Blinding? Yeah.
no deaths, no eagle
no,
crashes,
no,
no
Okay.
nothing.
the
In
Taybor
that
has no
sense,
blood on
sorry.
his hands. No blood
He
on
has
his
no blood.
hands.
If he was here, he'd be like, "How dare you lie about me like that? You're a terrible person. I would never kill anyone. I would only trade things that people."
I would try one. I don't try
I think they were
things.
trying to keep him on the buffoon side of the line and not a cold-blooded killer side of the
Right, he
line
does
the
not
whole
murder
time. He was
people.
supposed to be a kind of a light episode
It's
for
supposed to be
sure.
fun. You were having fun with the Taybor.
I
I mean, I'm not sitting here
Yeah.
telling you this is my favorite episode of Space 1999 or anything, but I don't have. Well, actually, looking at it, it's not far from the top. Again, rainbows, but
It kind of reminds me of. Did you guys feel like? I don't want to just keep bringing up Voyager over and over. It's a pretty good analogy, but you seen Legend of Korra?
it's on
No.
my
Okay.
shelf.
So I'll try and make this as fast as humanly possible. The first Avatar Last Airbender series sort of is a dystopian hellhole, and our hero is hiding from everyone and also trying to learn all these stuff. The second series is Korra, and she's super overpowered from the start and is also in like kind of a democratic society. So to raise the stakes, she just keeps getting kidnapped and abducted and depowered over and over again, which is really unpleasant to me. And that feels like what they're doing to Maya here. I don't know.
Although
Like,
Maya's far from omnipotent. I mean, she has a pretty notable power,
yeah.
but
Well, she's more powerful than anybody. We agree that she's more powerful than anybody.
she's the only
Alpha.
superhero on Alpha. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, her and Koenig. Koenig has the power of always being right, but
Or
Okay,
X-Men
yeah.
or whatever you want to call her. Yeah, yeah.
Koenig has plot armor times 1,000 or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, that's also a superpower.
What do we call her? Is she a transmorph now, or is she still a
Transmorph.
metamorph? Metamorph, transmorph. I don't know.
Maybe a transmorph is a insulting slur that Taybor uses, and maybe metamorph is the correct term.
He corrects himself later, so that means it was written that way in the script, meaning the scriptwriter wasn't paying close attention to which term he was using.
Yeah,
it wasn't even consistent.
Perhaps
Taybor is not an ally. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think transmorph is a cooler name, but it's too late, isn't it?
This also, there was another scene in here of them just having to touch everything. I mean, at the beginning when this stuff appears, I mean, I kind of get it, but when the pyramid shows up and Koenig just reaches right on in and starts touching it, it's like, dude, fool me 5 times, you're an idiot. You know, I'm an idiot. Whatever.
I like how he puts out that bulletin and he just says, "Do not touch. Do not touch."
Well, it was established what it was. It was plans. It wasn't a device that was going to zap you in the eyes or make you remember everything you ever remembered.
No, I'm just like, a little discretion at that point probably would not have been unwarranted, is what I'm getting at.
Didn't he say
I thought it was cool. The
children's
plans
toy?
were a 3-dimensional box. How are you supposed to read that? That's just the plan.
Is that what happens in Contact or something?
Yeah, like the
primer
in the alien message. Yeah,
right. I mean, that was a lot smarter than a weird pyramid, but
well, and he really, it was kind of funny when he just started insulting them for not knowing where their planet was. It's like, you don't know the coordinates? You don't know the galaxy you're in?
And then his "you are here" is extremely not helpful. He's like showing like what 8,000 galaxies, and you are this dot. It's like, that's extremely not helpful.
It really raises the question how you're supposed to find yourself in the universe after you've gone through 2 or 3 space warps and you could be any galaxy anywhere. And yet
Anytime.
Texas City found them.
Well,
So some of Earth found them, but they can't find Earth, which maybe they should have figured out.
See, they
Maybe it's
just
on the other
need-
side of that constellation that they eclipsed them last week.
it's kind of weird that we've pivoted from trying to find a new planet to trying to go back to Earth, because
Yeah,
that
I think it'd be
wasn't
the
brought
other
up
way
at
around.
all. Wasn't
'cause
brought
in-
up at all last season.
in
Well,
Nobody
they pivoted
Breakaway-
back when they realized that they couldn't find Earth. So let's go use the hyperdrive to find another Earth.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Because Breakaway, they're like, well, everyone get ready never to go back, right? Which season 1 leans into. Where here,
Yeah.
And again, it's like, what are they gonna? They want to get out of their moon dome. Well, they're just gonna end up in an Earth dome. It's like not what. How's this even much better? They probably have like horrible like resource crises and things.
Yeah, the
I mean,
plot is
Earth
a little too
doesn't have any-
episodic.
Earth
Yeah.
doesn't have any freaking Taybors on it. That's why you want to go back to Earth.
Oh yeah, are you sure?
Oh no! What if there are Taybors on Earth? Oh no!
What if they're glowing rocks on Earth? Red
Or
is
is
death.
Is the answer that there are a lot of Taybors on Earth, and that's the hell we live in now?
Is Kim Jong Un a sort of a Tabor?
I suppose so.
Well, it's
I
like,
just
again, you were talking about continuity, right? It's
Yeah.
like some things are continuity observant, like the beer, but then the whole search for a way back home and communication with Earth is kind of forgotten about after the
Just-
1 week goes by.
just before we got on Zoom, I saw a CNN article talking about how through weird connections, some Hollywood studios had accidentally outsourced some animation to North Korea.
I saw that.
So
I saw
They
the guy
outsourced
who
it to
made.
China, and then China re-outsourced it to North Korea.
That's hilarious. I saw that. I saw something about the guy who did Invincible saying that they had nothing to do with North Korea, and I thought that was an odd headline. So I guess that explains that. Anyway, I guess you can
What did
ethically
North
watch
Koreans
Invincible.
Animate on? Do they render things on like TRS-80s or something? What do they have in North Korea?
I mean, they can have whatever they want, whatever they're allowed to have, I guess.
I know
As long
what
as it's
I
not
don't know.
connected to the internet where they can talk to people outside their country.
I know where the connection is. About the same time, there's a Steve Hillage put out his album Rainbow Dome Music, which is like an hour of ambient stuff, and maybe this
Oh.
kind of like fits into my groove with that. Although that's chill out music, right? That's like that inspired the Orb or whatever. So
I mean, if
Well-
anything, this makes me sad that rainbows were used for such a dumb episode. Like they should have saved them for something better.
I
Maybe
guess
they
you-
should have put them on the Earth domes last episode.
I guess
Well,
an
speaking
episode
of-
like this, you just lean into the dumb,
Yeah. Well, speaking of music and saving it for later, they should have probably have not chosen this as an episode to give a one of the few, original scores to.
Mm.
Derek Wadsworth did. This is like the 4th score, and they've just been recycling the other 2 or 3 for a while now. So we'll have some of this music going forward, and then there'll be one more episode further down the season, and that'll be all the music he wrote for this series.
But you gotta love it as the Taybor ship shows up and the music's like, so it sounds like really like soft. Yeah.
It is really upbeat. Yeah, there's some fun cues in this episode. I admit I liked some of that music.
Mark, how did you watch this episode? Just like time of day,
Afternoon.
afternoon, maybe watching it like late night is the way to watch this episode, which is how I watched it.
Well, I was
Like a
gonna
late
say
night episode where you're half drifting out at some point.
maybe I feel like that might have been harder to watch it then. I did have to turn the captions on.
Oh, when they're building the new, I did not turn the captions on. I took it as like a dare. I said I wrote I could watch this with subtitles, but I'm not. That's in my notes.
Did you have subtitles on your DVDs?
I was actually watching on YouTube because I'm lazy, and it's
Okay.
there on YouTube. So
I remembered you had the DVDs, which I don't
do.
think had subtitles on them.
Oh,
The
do they
Blu-ray,
not?
I think
Okay.
does. I think the Blu-ray does, but not the DVDs.
Yeah, well, YouTube
weird.
always has the automatic ones if nothing else. So
True.
There was
I
some-
was thinking DVD would have them, but sorry.
There was a moment where I was wondering if they were about to make like new Maya like a Futurama style head in a jar, because they have that big box thing when they were building the fake Maya, and I was like, are they just
Yeah.
making the head?
And that picture shows up as a publicity still in some places, and it's kind of weird out of context. It's like, oh, there's Catherine Shell's in the head in a box. Why?
That's
What's
see,
in the
that's
box?
that would be good sci-fi if the Tabor left with a head, with Maya's head, but it was like a perfectly, it talked like her, and it was just like angry and sarcastic and just told him where to go all the time.
Well, yeah, that would push it even farther into the Futurama block, wouldn't
I guess so, yeah. I
it?
guess I'm just stealing from Futurama at this point. But,
Yeah, I guess there's okay. One thing is obviously there's no deep concepts or anything particularly philosophical to talk about. It's like there's like a buffoonish bad man and our regs. That's kind of it. It's pretty black and white, no grays,
yeah.
just
Nope.
rainbows.
Yep. I
Okay.
mean, okay, I'll give it this. Looks better than Dune Chapter 1 looks.
No, that's where I came in. I was like, give me some colors, dude.
But if you gave me a choice, I'd still rather rewatch that than watch the Tabor again. Because Dune, as dark as it is, still makes me feel better than watching the stupid Tabor trying to kidnap people.
Well, if you were like having like a party and had like this playing in the background on screen, that would be cool, with some acid
Sure.
rock or something, or just play the
The score, yeah.
the score from Space 1999 season 2. That'd probably do it if you're having a hipster party.
This for sure. You could put this on at a bar and you'd captivate at least a couple of people.
Yeah. So that's a weird power of it. It's nice to look at. Like I guess like the Tabor's dumb things that don't seem to have any function, but they're kind of nice to look at.
Yeah, I'd take one.
And the one shot of you could have my bonsai. I'm like, oh god, I was like, your face palming a bit of
No,
that.
Well, I know
no,
the
that
opening
was
scene probably
so
puts
bad.
this on Captain Mike's list of favorite episodes because it's in Solarium.
Back to the solarium, yeah.
That was straight up
Yes.
like dun, 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 we're in
Each
the
time
dance.
bawdier than before, aren't they? What are they
Yep.
like oiling themselves up this time or something?
It's just leg, just legs.
Oh, okay.
Until the woman gets blinded, it's just nothing but legs.
Right. Um, I did wonder for a second if it was going to be a literal puzzle box episode, but that did not happen.
Like, yeah, I could understand if you'd call the puzzle box a Tabor. Sounds like the name of a puzzle.
Yeah. Although, yeah, I already knew the Tabor was a person coming in, so.
Yeah. Well,
So I had a question about I don't know if I didn't go back to watch it, but I don't think this is in the scene. Did the women greet each other by saying hi guys? Because
In the solarium?
that's a more common colloquialism, using guys in a non-gendered way. And the reason I ask this goes back to our good friends over at the in the book department. Because this episode was one of only two that never made it into a novelization back in the 70s.
I wonder
So
why
when
not.
they novelized it around 2005, he had to write up this episode in 2005, and it had some weird anachronisms in it, like the women referring to each other as "hi guys." That struck me as a more modern turn of phrase. The other thing was that the main view screen test pattern was referred to as a screensaver, which definitely was not a thing in 1979.
No.
I thought the author and it was the same author, I think, who wrote all the other ones in the 70s. He wasn't paying attention to what he was writing.
There may not have been much of a script. I don't know. Or maybe the script was lost.
But at least there's a novelization of it out there if you look really hard for it, which never existed before. The other one I think was Earthbound. Never found its way into a book back then.
Oh,
but later it did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did like at the end of the solarium scene with Recreation Center report. Just it sounded a little goofy. So although I guess it's the least goofy thing in this episode once we start listening to a guy incoherently slurring.
Oh, favorite line? Got a favorite line?
Let's see. What did I write down? Maybe I wrote down Ahoy Alpha. Ahoy Alpha. That was fun.
Oh, that Mark, that reminded me, you in your notes you referred to you referred to Alpha as the ship. And I'm like,
yeah, I probably did.
you're not the only one. If you go to IMDb, you'll find people referring to in the synopses on IMDb referring to Alpha as, an alien came aboard the ship, and I'm like, ship? What ship?
Yep.
It feels like a
People are
ship.
so Star Trek oriented, they think of Alpha as a vessel and not
But
a base.
that wasn't that the goal of the season, to make it feel like a ship?
Yeah, it kind of did. Well, I was just gonna say it comes back to calling him the skipper.
Yes, that's you keep
Are you
hearing
the
skipper.
skipper of this here moon?
Yeah, he keeps
Yeah,
saying
I'm a skipper
skipper.
of the moon.
You think of a ship, yeah, or that, or Alan Hale and his lobster barrel.
Skipper the eye child, yeah.
um. Well, yeah, but yes, there's not much meat on the bone of this one story wise,
No.
or anything for sure. It's just it's again, it's a bauble to stare at for 50 minutes, and if you want, yeah, maybe you wanted to engage yourself, which you're not going to engage with this episode. You're just going to kind of let it flitter on by, which maybe is not always the best. I mean, I'm thinking of I'm making Star Trek comparison again. Thinking of Star Treks that just have like nothing.
That episode, nothing.
Night. Well, that
Oh,
that
I
makes
think I was
something out of
thinking of
nothing.
Night. Never
That
mind.
makes something out of nothing, right? I mean,
I
there you
thought
got some,
I can never remember the
notorious.
titles of anything. Remember?
Yeah, you got notorious ones like Sub Rosa, but that actually has a lot, right?
Was that the
I
Ghost
tend to
Sex
make my
episode?
That's the
my
ghost
Trek
one.
comparisons. I tend to make my Trek comparisons to TOS since it was the thing that was out when this series was made. And so when I draw parallels, I think, oh yeah, Harry Mudd. Oh yeah. Things
That's
like that.
Yeah.
the most obvious one for sure. I mean, they were. It really did seem like, well, of course they had Fred around. Fred was like, I never got to make my Mud episode, so I guess he's going to do it here.
I mean, you compare him to Berlin Hoff Rasmussen from TNG, right? Or something like that. A guy who's not who he claims
So
to be or something.
psychedelic visuals, empty calories. I guess that is the Taybor.
Like a screensaver. This is like a screensaver of episodes.
Yeah, I like looking at a screensaver sometimes. That's nice.
I've disabled a screensaver on my computer for like the last 20 years, probably.
Yeah, I don't actually have one running, but I remember enjoying looking at those ones we had in the late 90s, early 2000s. The ones that would play along with music.
Yeah.
Those were fun.
Well, once the flying toasters were gone, it just wasn't worth it anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks like the first screensavers were in the 60s. So
Well,
they might have known what screensaver was.
yeah, but it certainly was not in the common vernacular in
No.
1976.
No,
And that's
probably,
a test pattern. It doesn't move. It's just a test pattern. So it's going to burn in the Moonbase Alpha monitor screen just as badly as anything else.
It already is. That's why you never see anything on those screens. That's not true. You do.
Yeah.
So let's go, I guess, soft sci-fi versus hard sci-fi.
This is
Versus
100.
softcore high sci-fi.
I was gonna say
Softcore. Okay,
this
I'll
is
just hard sci-fi versus softcore sci-fi. There, that's the new question if you want.
this is
Oh,
100%
80% softcore high.
That's what I was gonna give this one too. I'll give 20 because they bring up the jump drives, which again, Battlestar does better later.
Oh, and hey, continuity, space warps. It says, oh, you have been to hyperspace. So space warps take you through hyperspace. We've established that. Hooray.
It at least felt like maybe it was there was continuity. We're talking about things that have happened.
It is in the end credits now. There is continuity.
Realistic about where Moonbase Alpha is,
Gladys
sort of,
Goldsmith.
even though it's somehow multiple galaxies away. Which doesn't make any sense. But no, this is 100% soft-headed sci-fi.
Nothing for the jump drive. Okay.
I mean, yeah, 80% soft-headed sci-fi, 20% wow, look at the rainbows.
Oh no, see, my 80% is wow, look at the rainbows. That's where I'm coming from, the other direction. So, but yeah, I would never or maybe I would, if I didn't want a person to actually like this show, maybe I'd put this one on and have fun watching it, and they'd be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I
certainly wouldn't tell someone to go watch this one, and then they just be pissed at me. I'd have to at least do it with them.
I feel bad for complaining about Collision Course now. This is much worse.
So this is your least favorite so far?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Okay.
my least favorite. I think once again, this is what I expected from season 2. And the first 2 or 3 episodes are like, oh, this isn't that bad, and now it's bad. So oh well.
Still a better love
Whoop-de-doo.
story than Twilight.
Sure, I haven't. It's still more likely for me to watch it than Twilight because I'm not going to watch Twilight, and I did watch this. So well, there you go.
Well, does anyone want to throw out a final thought on this one?
Well,
let's see.
Brian asked me about my favorite line earlier, and I didn't take it down, but probably the final form of Maya yelling at the Taybor about how terrible, the slatternly woman yelling at Taybor, whatever she said.
I just call her Space Hag.
Space Hag.
I don't think I wrote down her quotes.
As opposed to the Earth Hag that we had last week. Is that what we're gonna have every week? We're gonna have someone
Hag of the week
for woman.
Oh no.
I guess. Oh yeah, the end of this episode. I guess they often did perfect birth control between seasons because it seems like everyone's gonna run off and after the end of this episode.
There's something to that though. Fred Freiberger like fired everybody because he was so obsessed with having young people in the show. What is he just going to keep pummeling us with what he considers old hags? Is that what's going to happen? Is it actually going to happen? Because that's like feels genuinely possible now.
Yeah, I guess that's why Victor Bergman's not around. It seems like weirdly insulting when they have one older gentleman.
No, absolutely. It was deliberately insulting. It was definitely a huge, he was specifically going, like making absolute sure that Barry Morris wasn't on the show. It was, I didn't go into it as much as I could have because it was honestly depressing. And Morris kept saying things like, "Oh, I didn't want to come back," and there was a lot of documentation to the contrary, and he probably has feelings devastated by this guy who took him off a show that he was frankly really good in. So I don't know.
I have one very important question to close my thoughts out, which is the Taybor wearing the wig?
Oh Christ!
I think he
it's
might
never
be.
been stated, but it kind of looks like that.
It looks kind of like the wig. I think he might be
spray some color in it, put some mousse, spike it up into a
they put a little fluffy thing
mohawk.
Yeah, but
could have been
Taybor. I'm looking at him. That's a pink wig. I don't even know if
it was kind of a silvery.
I think that's that's like too short to be the wig.
Maybe.
Wide.
Okay.
Maybe
I
it's
just
his
want
head.
Yeah, I just want to make I feel like we can't get out without at least like considering it for a second, so because we kept very good track of the wig in season 1, so I'd hate to have it reappear and us not notice.
You know why we kept such good track of it, right?
Why is that?
Because there was a comment on IMDb that said when to look for the wig. That's why. One person wrote that, and for all I know, that person was lying. So I'm looking at a picture of Christopher Lee, and nah, that's a different wig.
Okay. I did not do a direct comparison, so if I did, I might be like, what was I thinking? But
different wig.
Fun
fact that I left off the trivia is the costumer had to use 2 tape measures taped together to measure the Taybor.
Oh, I called them space moo-moos. Is that an insult?
It does kind of look like a moo-moo. It's very glittery.
He was well known for joking about his weight, so he'd think it was funny.
Yeah, that's why I felt when you said that, so I can make the space moo-moo joke, I guess. So
Willoughby Goddard. It's hard to remember his name because it's like Willoughby Goddard. So does not roll.
I want to see more stuff with him. I don't think I've seen anything else with him.
Well, there was see him in Danger Man.
Yeah, okay, I'll have to go watch Danger Man.
Gawain and the Green Knight. Was that like a John Borman thing?
Oh, was it? I know Excalibur was a John Borman thing, but I don't remember that one.
Oh yeah, that was.
Isn't that Sean Connery?
Think so.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because Sean Connery is like, right?
Well, he's always like that.
Head cut off.
I guess James Bond doesn't do that.
So my favorite line, I think, was when Helen said, "And the moon can go rolling by." It's like, you're out of it, Helen.
No,
She was
this
having party time.
this is like directed by Stephen Weeks, and it doesn't star anybody I've ever heard of. This is not Sean Connery.
Okay.
Michael Caine. No, that's Michael Crane. I'm sorry.
Michael Crane.
That's Michael Crane. Different guy.
Half brother Michael Crane, yeah. Often confused.
5.4 on IMDb.
Bob
Not,
Connery.
Not well liked.
No, okay. Well, maybe that's not where you want to see this guy again then.
Okay. Look for something else. Mark, you said you thought that Koenig had put a bomb on Tabor's ship, which,
Yeah.
by the way, I have to comment. I love the flames painted on the bottom of the ship to make it look like it's going fast. I thought
that was
cool
really good.
Yeah, he's got a blinged out ship. Again, Liberace ship, yes.
But I was thinking, yeah, if he had put an actual mine on the ship and then blew it when it was hyperspace, so it just came crashing back to Alpha, then the Tabor could have just become a regular character. He'd just be like this grumpy, reclusive neighbor sitting in his ship next door. He comes over occasionally.
He'd be here every episode.
Yeah, he'd just be around. He'd be like a Dr. Smith of the series. He would just be there.
He just came over as like, can I borrow some sugar? And then Koenig is like, damn, Taybor, you can't have any sugar.
We've given you all our hardtack, Taybor. Go away.
Out of here. Well, is this kind of an interesting thing about season 2 is that we not only haven't really had any doomed couples in this, we've also, Koenig hasn't really murdered anybody.
Yeah, I guess he's more chill. Well, he's getting it now, so that
he did murder what's her name in the Exiles. He did throw Zova
out the airlock.
Yeah, he threw Zova out the airlock. That was pretty hardcore.
That's hardcore.
Okay, so as long as he's still getting his like bloodlust.
It's like one murder though. Come on,
It's only one murder. Nobody would have.
You can't judge a person for one murder.
I don't feel like anybody would have blamed him if he killed the Taybor. Like, I wouldn't have blamed him.
Well, if you're dealing with clearly psychopathic aliens in this show, you have to throw them out in airlock. That's what they did with Baylor, and then do it with Zova. So,
they could kill and eat the Taybor for their supply.
That's just
problems.
the law.
Yeah, that's the law is that if a guy is just sort of whimsical and just trying to, kidnap your friend, it's not okay to kill him. But if he's, killing a guy with an airplane or whatever that was, you can kill that guy. The
Taybor could feed Alpha for like a week. Sorry, you said fat jokes were on the table because he liked them.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Shall we wrap it up then?
Yep. Well, if you like things that are better than the Taybor, then you can follow us at patreon.com/podcastio. You can send money, you can see listen to outtakes. You can listen to other podcasts like Films Filth, Citizen Kane of Podcasts, Occult Disney about the connections between the occult and Disney, Time Enough, Twilight Zone podcast, Luke Loves Pokemon, High Roll Field Report, Game Show about games. And until then, do not.
Let's go off into hyperspace. I'm not even doing them anymore. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Don't buy anything from Taybors. All right.
Somewhere my Taybor just turned into an incoherent mess, which
he was already incoherent, but the real Taybor was an incoherent mess.
Yeah, but sexy, whimsical ending.
I have to get I didn't get the timbre of his voice right though. Yeah, so
I think so.
Okay, good.
Now we have to do Taybor impersonations from now on to perfect our Taybors.
Just do like a supplemental episode that's just Tayboring at each other.
I want drunken Alan Carter talking to drunken Taybor, and you can't understand either one of them.
That would have been fun. That it is too bad this is the one he went to.
He would not have been. He would not have been in this. He would not have been in that scene. He would not have been in that scene.
Well, they would have put him in it.
He knew. He would have been in a moon buggy for like 5 seconds. He was not going to be in the drinking scene.
I did like the scene in the dinner scene where she does the thing with her claw on his knee, and Koenig is trying not to laugh.
Yeah.
He's like, because he knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Next week, maybe let's take that week out if that's cool with everyone. That's my holiday week, and
Okay.
Oh,
I
whatever suits you.
might be
We're
on the
like 3
road.
episodes ahead, aren't we? What's this
That's
week?
I'm like, maybe here's a time to grab one a week.
Very good.
I still have one or two that week. That's the reason I'm saying that. Because I'm
No
doing
problem.
Death Ship with Mike, but he had to push it to next week. So we were gonna do it tomorrow, but now we got it ahead. And then Thursday, what is that gonna be? Something. I think something was happening.
Thursday.
Oh, Mute. I'm doing a couple Twilight Zones next week. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I was gonna do one. Now I'm doing two. So
So we're
right.
still like 3 or 4 weeks away from Jess Bell or whatever.
correct.
one you
It'll
tagged me
we'll
on.
be doing it in May. Yeah. That's I think the next one I'm gonna be eyeing. So that, and then Mark has something after that, but I forget which one. Miniature, maybe. You have something on the list. Yeah, but in May, both of you guys have Twilight Zones I will bug you about.
Nice.
And Mark, we're doing Sunset in 48 hours.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you seen Sunset Boulevard?
I haven't. I probably should have by now.
My first view. I mean, I'm only 20 minutes in, but Mark, you say you like it because it's parlor sniping, insane parlor sniping. Basically, is the impression I get.
Prototype. Am I coming in one channel for you guys?
You're coming in quiet.
Yeah, you're quieter suddenly.
Your cord isn't happy today. It only was like a issue in recording for like 3 seconds, but
and now is it normal?
Now
you're coming in like a
loud.
bullhorn.
Oh God. No, I loved it. It was like the prototype. It was like the prototype for a person slowly going insane. It was amazing. I mean, and also Hollywood like kind of shitting on itself.
But yeah, I'm only 20 minutes in, so I'll finish it tonight and tomorrow night. And
is this your first time seeing it, or have you seen it before?
first time.
Man, I love it. I don't know if you're gonna love it. It feels like basically
so far I think I like it better because I explained in the other one, Billy Wilder never quite sits with me because I don't like his balance, whereas this one's like notably darker. So
this one's a lot different than part of why I like about him is that it feels like all of his movies have been pretty different from each other this is only the third one I've seen, but
yeah, but Some Like It Hot, The Apartment, and Witness, all like I can tell they're really good movies, but the tone I find not quite appealing.
Yeah,
Something about the balance of the tone, it's just like kind of dull to me. Yeah.
it's yeah, I did a lot of reading up about it, and it's just basically Gloria Swanson was nothing like this. So you're basically watching, like, she basically retired quietly and just was doing TV and stuff, and then got the call to be in this movie, and then so she's basically is making fun of people who are like this, which makes it even better because it's this layer of her just being like clearly just doing a parody of somebody. But then the thing is, she did such a great job that she was basically only offered these roles for the rest of her life.
Oops, typecasting.
Well, and I mean, I always heard Gloria Swanson sort of referred to like this, like in this movie. And the thing is, she did such a good job that it like the reputation stuck to her.
What's
It's
like
just crazy.
what is it? Tom Wilson? What's the guy that played Biff, or the guy
Yeah,
that played what is it? William Atherton that played Peckerhead in Ghostbusters? Am I getting that mixed up?
yeah, yeah. No, I don't know about Atherton, but I
Yeah,
know
he's
that.
got some role that he gets yelled out about. I don't. Yeah,
I mean,
I might be mixing him
that
up.
would be it probably. I think that because in the only other movie I've seen him in was Real Genius, and he was like nice
Yeah,
in that. I think
he's a dickhead in that too. Yeah.
was he dickhead in that? I don't remember.
Yeah, in Real Genius, he was a dickhead, and then Ghostbusters, he got typecast as the dickhead here.
Yeah.
Well, the man with no dick, actually, but
yeah,
it would be like if Nick Cage did one movie where he went crazy, and then everyone just thought that he was really like that in real life for the rest of his life. So
that's right, William
maybe he
Atherton,
is.
who was also in.
But the Biff guy, the guy who did Biff is like the most like I don't know what you call it, like sincere tweed friendly guy ever who's done a
Oh
bunch
yeah,
of
he's a perfectly
musicals,
nice
and
guy.
he's the nicest person in the world. Like he has a bunch of, I guess he had a bunch of cards that to made out if people ask him questions about Back to the Future, he just gives them a card with all the answers to questions they would ask. He seems like a genuinely like sweet and sincere person, which is hilarious because that character was like a monster from hell.
Atherton's other roles were his other big hit was the sleaze bag from the first two Die Hards. That's macking on his wife,
What?
McClane's wife, or whatever.
Oh shit! I forgot he was in that.
But in the 70s, it says on Wiki he had starring roles in Sugarland Express, David Lucas, Hindenburg, and Looking for Mr. Goodbar, which were all somewhat successful at the time, but we know him now for his dickless roles in Ghostbusters and Die Hard. And he's apparently in the new Ghostbusters.
And Real Genius.
The thing I hate about his role in Ghostbusters is, I don't know if you guys had a similar response, but that the way that his character was portrayed in that movie made me as a kid just hate the EPA. I was like,
he was so hated that after the movie
I hate the
came out,
EPA.
he was harassed on the street and challenged to fight in bars.
It's actually possible that the way that character was written had a significant impact on like the climate of the earth. It's possible that somebody who saw that was influential enough to grow up and like fucking intentionally just pollute like crazy because fuck the EPA.
It said he played in Die Hard, his character's name was Richard Dick Thornburg.
Well, there you go.
Well, yeah, there you go.
What there you go.
Yeah, he's got a notable filmography when you look at it. He's in Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie.
That movie had so much in it, I barely remember anything. But
oh, he's in the 80s Twilight Zone.
But yeah, Sunset Boulevard, it
3 Murder, She Wrote, different characters each time. Sorry, my Sunset.
No, it's all good. I know, I was just saying that it's great, and I feel like it influenced a lot of. I feel like both Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive pulled directly from it, so that makes it cool in my book. I mean, it makes sense that David Lynch would be into old stuff. Older stuff.
Okay, well, I will catch you folks later. We'll make Brian not 5 minutes late this time, I guess.
All right.
Well, I need to go.
Don't be late.
Go run an errand before I actually get out of town. So that's cool. Jeannie had some requests on Films and Filth. Should I just throw them your way?
Yeah. Sure. Go for it. Like I said, John was like, "Oh, I'm giving you too many requests." I was like, "Well, it's over like 200 movies in 3 years. It's not all that many requests, dude."
I know. She's just looking at some going, "I can't believe nobody took Psycho." And I said, "Well, why don't you ask for it? Maybe he'll give it."
Yeah.
Psycho.
So the podcast might get really big at that point because I think Mercy's going to be on more when they move in together. So, but that's fine.
Good. I mean,
I think Mike is number 1 on the list, isn't he? He's like the most appearing person.
I gotta start like plugging it anywhere, which I'm so terrible about.
Same here. Well, yeah. I used to be a little
ask
better.
Millie and April if they want to be on it.
I'm gonna ask Millie at some point. I just haven't had a chance to. I just the last time I saw her, she was just like, "Hey, I've already got a podcast. Way to go!" And I was like, "Just trying to be like you." And she was like, "Nah, I'm not." She's like trying to downplay things.
Aw.
Dumb question. Do I know her? I mean, obviously I don't know her that well. I just feel like that's someone I might have encountered at some point.
She's like Filipino kind of heavy set with glasses, into schlock. I told her that this was a while ago. I was like, I'm about to watch Ballistic X versus Sever, and she was like, "You're lucky." Like that's the kind of, she hosted a screening of Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Like that's the kind of shit she's into.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to get a fix of people because
it's not impossible. I'm not really sure.
She was not part of the art school crowd though. That was the Avondale crowd, was a different crowd.
No, I mean, she basically is somebody who I met was sort of like Plaza hanging out a lot.
Oh, okay.
Plaza a lot. So like, I don't know if you met
that makes it a little less likely.
I met her doing deliveries, but like she's just obviously
Right.
involved in film stuff. She judged my film festival one year.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, because throw an invite out. Sure.
She
I've heard her on
got any more
podcasts before.
podcasts since Sort of Details? Because I know when April moved away, that's when that podcast ended.
Yeah, that one I mentioned, I Know What You Saw. I don't know how
Okay.
I don't know how popular it is, because the thing is what they do, or I Saw What You Did. I got the thing wrong. I kept getting the name wrong. I hope I said it right on the fucking podcast.
Well, you'll have an error correction corner if you got it wrong. A
God
correction to
damn it.
correct your correction.
I do not. I already feel like so embarrassed about the first correction. It's on the My Favorite Murders podcast network, so it's probably like at least getting some 13 ratings. Well, I don't know. Hopefully it's the thing is I haven't listened to a lot of it because their format is like each one of the hosts bring in a movie and they talk about the two movies. I think they don't I don't think they don't tell each other ahead of time. So I mean, there's a few of these where there's one where they do Network and Vertigo. I've seen both of those, but it's like a lot of them. There are a lot of them where I'm like, well, I've seen one of these movies, but not the other. So I don't know. Saw and Total Recall, sure, I can watch that, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it's good. It's one of these things where it's hard for me to watch podcasts or listen to podcasts when there's like homework involved. And if it's like if there are two movies, then it's less likely that I will have seen both of them.
You haven't seen Network?
Oh, I've seen Network. I love Network.
Oh, okay.
Network might be my birthday movie if the podcast goes on for enough years. For enough years. I mean, yeah. That's one of my favorite movies.
I get 8 movies for my birthday. Okay.
Just
have you guys seen Late Night with the Devil yet?
No,
not yet. No.
It's not. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's on Shudder if you have Shudder.
Cool. Yeah, I love that guy. What, David Dasmalkian?
Yeah.
I've just been not going to the theater to save money, but and then I look at this stuff this week and I'm like, fuck, there are like 4 movies I really want to see in the theater. So I think I might just go see Godzilla X Kong or something.
No, I'm getting a little more slack about the theater.
It's just money. If I like really felt like I had a ton of spending money, then I'd just go see everything. But
I did get this in the mail though, so I'll get it in sometime soon.
Nice. Yeah, you got to watch that.
What was that?
That's a really Tar. Have you seen it?
No. Oh, is that the one with what's her name?
Yeah, Kate Blanchett.
Yeah. That what's her name? Yeah.
It specifically relates to an orchestra stuff. So I just was like, you have to watch this. It's been pretty interesting because I've talked to multiple people who all had different takes on what the message of that film was.
And especially after the split, Philip Glass, yes.
Right.
Yeah, I just picked up another Philip Glass symphony since he seems to be cranking them out quicker. I better catch up.
He's getting old. Get it done. Get her done.
He's still going,
only on
man.
number 8. He's got to get to 100.
I'm gonna go ahead and hit the record later, y'all.